More than 100,000 people marched through the streets of Paris protesting the surge in anti-Semitism since Hamas attacked Israel October 7th. They were joined by prominent French political leaders, including several former presidents. More than 1,200 incidents of anti-Semitism have been reported in France over the past month. France has largely banned pro-Palestinian demonstrations. However, there have been a number of marches in different French cities with protesters demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. Jonathan Tobin is with us now. He's the editor-in-chief of the Jewish News Syndicate, and he's written extensively about the uptick in anti-Semitism since the war began. Thank you for joining us once again. Your most recent article, titled "Journalists Who Aid Terrorists Help Mainstream Jew Hatred," you suggest that coverage of Israel has been skewed. How so, and what have you found?
Well, the first point, too, that I wrote about was that we've now discovered that when Hamas sent, more than 1,000 terrorists into Israel to commit unspeakable atrocities on October 7th and to execute the largest mass slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust, they had photographers who were stringers from mainstream publications like the New York Times, the Associated Press, Reuters, with them, and who were tagging along as if they were embedded with a legitimate military operation. This highlights not just the fact that they did that, but that pretty much everything we see coming out of Gaza, whether it's directly from Hamas agencies or through the mainstream press, through stringers that they operate there, are controlled by Hamas. It's an Islamist tyranny. And certainly no one who is a journalist or purporting to be a journalist working inside Gaza is at the peril of their lives to report anything but what Hamas wants them to say or do or to photograph.
So are you suggesting, I just want to be clear on this, that there was previous knowledge by some of these stringers working for some mainstream media prior to the October 7th attack, that there was some working knowledge that something like this was about to happen?
I don't know that, and I'm not alleging that, and I haven't alleged, nor is Honest Reporting the agency, the media monitoring group that first reported this, saying that. What we do know is that they were there, and they were ready, like the terrorists, to join, go along for the ride on, this terrible atrocity. And it should speak not just to what was reported about that incident, but to much of what we are told that comes out of Gaza from stringers and journalists and photographers who often work for mainstream American and international outlets, but who are doing Hamas's bidding. And I say this is related to the worldwide rise in anti-Semitism because, Hamas, with this attack, I think, they made a major miscalculation, which is to say they underestimated Israel's willingness and ability to strike back at them and to no longer tolerate the presence of a terrorist state on their borders. But they calculated that, committing such an atrocity, killing Jews and to, torture, rape, all these terrible things, that it would somehow engender a rise in anti-Semitism around the world, both out of support for this atrocity and both because this was going to be mobilized against any Israeli response. And I think we see in these marches in Europe and certainly even in America on our streets and on college campuses where people are chanting for Israel's elimination, which is what that "from the river to the sea" chant is about. It's about wiping out and eliminating the one Jewish state on the planet. That is anti-Semitism. If you're singling out Israel in this way, it's the only country. There's a worldwide international movement about its destruction, and that it's got support from people who call themselves American progressives. There's no other way to define this but as anti-Semitism. And as a result of treating this as a legitimate opinion, support for Hamas and opposition to the effort to, eradicate Hamas. I mean, who demonstrated after 9/11, in favor of keeping Al-Qaeda alive? Which is the equivalent here. This is functional anti-Semitism. And to the extent that we are treating these points of views as legitimate, things about which, reasonable people should be able to agree to disagree about, we are mainstreaming anti-Semitism.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.